What up, guys? This is Casey is Raw again, and today we're gonna talk about wrestling, or talking about wrestling. And yesterday was broke everywhere that WWE's going back to TV14, and then later on, Joe Cronin reported that it might not be going to TV14. And honestly, when I first heard this, I'm like, they've been PG, or I think, aren't they PG now? Not PG-13, but they've been that for a long time. Like, I think at least, 15 years, give or take, like that. To the point, like, they're not the same WWE or even WWF back in the early 2000s, or in the 1990s. They're not the same company. They're not, like, fighting for their right to live or survive. They are the corporate entity that WCW was before it died. I'm like, they took some elements from WCW when they're like, oh, this is the way we can make money. And there's nothing wrong about making money. Well, if, like Drew would say, there's nothing wrong about hustle. But if you're going to, like, you change your whole thing to today's pretty much, like I said, is the dying days of WCW without losing their financials. The opposite. Wow, nice. There's this guy with a real nice hot rod to. Yeah, it's wow, it's beautiful. I'm sorry. I should have just took it off and showed you guys, but, when they went PG-13, they or PG, that's when, they pretty much went the corporate way. I mean, yeah, TV14 was the great days. I mean, yes, you had the Attitude Era, and then the Ruthless Aggression Era, that was still pretty good, not as great, but, and then we got PG, and honestly, if they want to make these awesome deals, they had to go PG. They were getting sick of getting hammered by some of these, like the parent, whatever they call, like, they can bitch and complain about, what's the content is on the WWE. Granted, I hear when it's the pay-per-view or live premiere, special premiere, whatever they call it nowadays, I still call it pay-per-views. I mean, you still have to pay for the fucking thing. So, I mean, to me, it's still pay-per-view. But, and it's funny? I'll give you this special tidbit. For a while, I don't know if it still does this, but if you put, I think it pay-per-view or ppv.com, I think it was pay-per-view.com, it would go to WWE's website. Because I believe WWE owned the website. So, It's a smart move. I don't know how much of they. I don't know if they own anything in the pay-per-views, but I think it's smart for them to transfer over to the network, because I mean, to me, I hated how like some of these pay-per-views. They're like, ugh. Like, and if none of the matches sound interesting, and it's like what, $50-$60, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not paying that. Even during the times when it was $30, when I was younger, $30 was still, that's like $50 and $60 to me nowadays, you know. But I mean, like, when I was watching AEW, I like it how they have pay-per-views quarterly. And when they had Forbidden Door, it was like very shortly after the pay-per-view. I was like, well, I never watched New Japan Wrestling. I'm sure, I hear it's great. I mean, not only New Japan Wrestling's great, I hear the Forbidden Door was pretty good too. But that's beside the point. I mean, look, AEW is TV14. I mean, Rampage is TV14, and it's not doing good. I feel the answer for Rampage, this is my opinion, it needs to go 2 hours. And they don't need to treat it as their... I think they treat it as their Sunday Night Heat, where it should be their SmackDown. Like Dynamite is their Monday Night Raw, and Rampage obviously should be their SmackDown. So they make that 2 hours, and I feel like they're getting to the point where, like, they have a bunch of talent. They might have to do the same thing, like the AE minus having 2 world titles. You have 1 world champion, and then, well, think about this. You got the TNT Championship. That can go over to Rampage. And they got, All Atlantic Championship. And that could be their TBS Championship. And those are like your main champions. Your top, well, it's still your secondary championship, but that's your, like, and secondary championship, but they are pretty much your top champion for that brand. Well, like I said, the world champion floats between each other. I'm not saying they had to do a full brand split, but I think it would do a lot better. It would give people more time, and then throwing all your best people on both shows. And then you throw everyone else on darker elevation. But I was going back to my original point. I mean, Rampage is TV14. And it's not doing good views right now. After the whole CM Punk showed up, it was pretty much spiked right there. And I really need to start watching Rampage. I need to at least support Rampage a little bit more. And same thing with Dynamite. I mean, I enjoy watching AEW. Is it perfect? Hell no. WWF wasn't even perfect in the Attitude Era. But it shows proof right there with AEW. I mean, it is cool that they are TV14. They can do a little bit more stuff. But I don't know if they would want to revert back to that, because there's some stuff they can't do they did in the past. I mean, it's, to me, when I see someone get a chair shot on the back, they have to do that, or like they have to void the head, because chair shot to the head is banned. And honestly, that's a great move, because I feel like that should have been banned. And, you know, honestly, if you want to have a, give it a little special, meaning, I think some moves, you know, banned when they're not really, but like on TV, they're banned. Like super kick. Like, if they do the super kick and the ref sees it, that's a disqualification. But let's say they do the super kick to someone, and behind the ref's back, I think that's a better idea. I mean, they just got to be more innovative, and right now, though, they don't care about being innovative. So I don't, like, once they went PG, they went more corporate. They didn't do that immediately when they were turned public. And that's when they started having to answer to other people than just Vince now. But, like, once they went PG, they kind of went corporate, and it's all about making money. And yes, there's nothing wrong about making money. But it's to the point it's not the same. And I guarantee you, even if it was true that though they're going back to TV14, it's not going to be their miracle thing that's going to turn the whole product around and shoots it back up to 6 million, 7 million, 8 million people watching it back in the Monday Night War era. So, when I heard about TV14 returning, or PG is over, I see it, I believe it when I see it, because they done it for so long. I mean, they don't even do blood anymore. Like, granted, that's one of the perks of TV14 is blood. But they'll do it every once in a while, but they'll turn it away, or they'll try to hide it. But it might unlock a couple things, but there's some things that back in when it was TV14 the first time, it's not going to be the same. So it's not going to be the miracle thing to turn their product around, but I could be wrong. That's why it's my opinion. So, I'm going to let you guys go, and you guys have a good day. See you. Bye.